Well, to find out what this all means, we have now two guests joining us. Campaigns Manager for Labour Behind a Label, Meg Lewis, and Mart Knight, co-founder of the sustainable clothing brand Rapanui Clothing. And they both join me now live. Thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World on this discussion. Well, Meg, first of all, starting with you, as we are hearing more popular brands introducing lines that are eco-friendly and calling for sustainable fashion, and it looks like the industry is beginning to recognise the need for change. But are they really? That's my question. Or does it mean maybe even more production and using it as a marketing tool to make the brand seem as it is adopting the ideology?
Yes, I think you're absolutely right there. And we have seen a big increase in talking about sustainable fashion and sustainability. But often what that means in practice is having one sustainable line, which might mean that there are materials or fabrics used that are recycled at some point. But the term sustainability might make people think that, oh, workers are being paid a living wage, they don't need to work excessive overtime, and that's not always the case. So I think that we need to be really careful when talking about sustainability. What is it that we actually mean in terms of labour rights, in terms of the environment, and not using it as this marketing tool, which might actually increase the problem.
Well, actually, Mart, let's get you in here as well. So basically, do you think the industry is recognising any kind of change, or are they just using it as a marketing tool?
Well, I can't speak for other businesses, really. I mean, our company was set up with the purpose to try and solve this problem. So what that means is every product we make is made from natural materials. Our factory is powered by renewable energy. We make products in real time in the seconds after they've been ordered. So we only make what people need when they need it. And everything's designed from the start to come back to us when it's worn out to be remade into new stuff. I can say when we tried to do that, everything got more expensive. And that felt pretty crazy because it didn't seem right that the economy kind of punished us for trying to do the right thing. So there are definitely challenges around this issue. What we did was to basically just redesign the way that clothes are made, develop new technologies, redesign a new type of factory, one that I'm standing in now, so that we made clothing production really, really efficient. And it's the proceeds from those efficiencies that we reinvest into different types of materials and different types of production that can solve some of these problems.
As you mentioned there, Mart, so you said we are not using it as a marketing tool, but is that the reason actually why you did it in the first place? Because I am talking about big companies here. Of course, I'm not going to mention names and not make you mention any names, but I'm talking about fast fashion here. And we see these, eco lines coming out. But then again, they're producing other things on the side as well. So what do you think, though? How much of it is the fashion industry using it as a marketing tool, or are they people taking it up as an ideology now?
Is the fashion industry thinking about doing this as a marketing tool? Are they responding to consumer pressure? Yes, I think that's a good thing. People want change. And myself and my brother started this business for that reason. We wanted to do something about this issue around sustainability. We wanted to change the products we bought ourselves, and we couldn't. So we decided to make our own. I think that's what the next generation of businesses will do. They'll take people who've got the will to actually buy sustainable products, and they'll give them the way. I think that that's what we did it. We didn't do it for marketing. We did it because we want to do something about it.
Okay, well, Meg, what do you think the industry is doing right and what not?
So there are increasing moves from big brands, because a lot of the time we will focus our efforts on big brands because that is the companies that are making the most clothes. So that's where we can have the biggest impact. And there are things that the big brands are doing much better. So we've had a big push around transparency in recent years, and are working with partners on the transparency pledge, and we've had around 40 brands signed the Transparency Pledge now, which is great news. And that means that they are committing to publishing the names and addresses of the factories and workshops where their clothes are produced. But it's important to note as well that that's not the end goal for us. Transparency is just the beginning, because that is the mechanism through which workers, activists, unions can challenge the human rights abuses that happen within the industry. So I do think it's fantastic that there's greater awareness now around sustainability and around our impact, definitely on the planet and on the workers as well. But it's now what we do about that, what we do with that awareness, and also making sure that the actions are there's actions as well as just words from the bigger brands.
Well, on the other hand, Meg, I asked the question, should we really just blame the fashion industry? Because looking at my own grandmother and my mother, I mean, they used to not buy as many clothes. They used to buy twice a year. They would mend their own clothes, and it would be absolutely, if it's necessary, to buy extra shoes for winter. So the way we consume things now, actually, are we to blame?
So the way that we consume things has definitely changed. And I think we're buying more, up to 5 times more clothes now than we did in the 1980s. So it's really moving in quite a dangerous direction in terms of overconsumption. Whether that means that we're to blame, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think that there are very aggressive sort of marketing campaigns to ensure that we feel that we need to buy new clothes all the time. But definitely it's something that needs sort of a holistic approach, and people are taking individual actions, which are great. I think more people are buying secondhand, more people might be supporting smaller brands or brands that have signed up to the Transparency Pledge. So that's fantastic. But I think we still need to keep that conversation going about what are we going to do to transform the garment sector as it is, because it does need such radical changes in order to pay workers a living wage and to end exploitation within supply chains.
Well, Mart, what would you say to people that assume sustainable, ethically made clothing is actually too expensive for the average shopper?
I think that there's a good reason why people think that. Like I said, when you make stuff the right way, if you want to pay somebody in a factory a living wage, that costs more money. So up till now, it's been the case that more sustainable choices come with more cost. I think what changed in our business was when, if you think about the clothing supply chain, you basically take stuff out, you take resources, you turn it out of the ground, you turn them into products that are designed to be thrown away, and then they end up in the bin. What we started doing was recovering the material at the end and using it to getting it back off our customers and using it to make new products, which saved us a load of money. And that meant that our products were, there was no waste, they don't end up in landfill, but also it was cheaper for us to produce so that our prices stayed the same. And that's basically a good metaphor for the fashion industry. Like, it's wasteful and it's not sustainable. So that's like us driving towards a cliff. If fast fashion is like speeding up, which is a bad idea, slow fashion, buying less, is kind of like slowing down, which is a good first step. And what we've done is kind of turn the car around so that the material flows around in a circle. It reduces costs for the business, it's better for the environment and better for our customer. So it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, I have to wrap it up here, but it was a pleasure talking to you both, Meg Lewis and Mart Drake Knight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks.